Thank you for joining me. Today is episode 110, and we're going to think differently about your personal growth. I'm Kathy Rhodes, and I'm honored that you choose to grow with me. Now, personal growth and the exercise that I'm going to walk through with you today, this is usually something that I do in the month of December because it's a topic or it's an exercise that I highly recommend you do at the end of a year and at the beginning of a new year. But I've been talking a lot about this topic with many people that I've been coaching, and it is something that you need more than a week to ponder. It's something that you do need to create. And I think it's fair to say, hey, let's start this process here in October so that we finish out 2022, whatever year we're in. So we finish out strong, and so we start 2023 even better. A few weeks ago, I was listening to a learning video with Mark Cole and Chris Robinson, and they called it the Rule of 5 for personal growth. And what this is these are 5 things that they recommend you do every day to enhance and encourage your own personal growth. So the first of all, I'll just tell you the 5, and then we'll kind of dig in a little bit. Every day I learn, every day I prioritize, every day I apply, every day I evaluate, and every day I share. So those are the 5 things. Let's start at the top. Every day I learn. When you have this attitude, when you have this mindset, when you have this expectation, it makes you coachable. It makes you humble to receive whatever it is that God wants you to learn that day. Sometimes I know it's so easy to talk about other people, but sometimes I don't have that spirit of learning within me. And it kind of happened this morning. My husband, I offered a question, more it was just a statement of, hey, I've been working through this. And then he offered me some ideas and maybe advice. And I felt it. I felt it in me right away, kind of rear up and think, just be nice, just be polite, but whatever, I'm not listening. He had a really good idea. And thankfully I caught myself right away to adjust my mindset and to listen and to adjust what I thought my approach might be in this situation, to adjust it with what he has as an idea as well. I mean, every day I learn. That means I'm coachable to learn something new. Okay. Also, every day I prioritize. Prioritizing is the magic of our day, right? We can get things done if we prioritize it in the right way. When we don't have clarity about our purpose, we can't tell opportunity from distractions. Some things come to us and they're both really good. They're really good opportunities, but meanwhile, one is a distraction. We need to prioritize what our purpose is in life. We need to prioritize what our goals are. And we need to focus in on that and not let the distractions come in our way. Someday I want to write a book, but right now, today, I'm focusing on my podcast and my online learning program called You Have Superpowers. It's not time for me to write a book. And if somebody comes to me with an opportunity on how to write and how to have an agent and all that, now is not the time. My purpose, my mission, my goal is not the book right now. Maybe in a few years, not right now. So here's some questions to ask yourself every single day, and actually find yourself a really cute journal and just journal your answers every day. Number 1, what do I need to do related to my purpose? What do I need to do today? Number 2, what do I need to read or listen to today? However we gather content. Maybe it's an Audible book, maybe it's a podcast, maybe it's a book. What do I need to read, or what kind of content do I need to absorb? Number 3, what do I need to listen to today? Now, I know I just said, Audible book and podcasts and all of that in the previous question, but maybe it's a little deeper. Maybe it's a little different. What I need to listen to, it might be a person. It might be a mentor, a leader, or somebody that we don't want to hear from. Okay, number 4, who do I need to call today? There's always things we procrastinate on. Who do I need to call? And number 5, what am I looking for today? When we match all of our answers toward our purpose, toward the goals that we're going after, every day with this mindset is going to get us closer to the goals, and it helps us prioritize. So every day I learn, every day I prioritize, every day I apply. That's number 3. Every day I apply. The greatest gap in life is between knowing and doing. So it's actually doing. Apply means doing what I want to be doing. Reading the books that I want to read, or listening to the podcast. Yesterday I got into my car and I love listening to the Disney station on my radio. It's just my thing. But I thought, there's some podcasts that I really want to finish. Plug it in while I'm driving. I have a 15-minute drive into town and back. That's 30 minutes of a podcast. So apply what we want to do. Also, what are the places that I want to go? Where do I want to go? Maybe they're not saying on vacation, okay? I'm talking about growth places. Maybe there's conferences. Maybe there's local events. Maybe there's networking events. Maybe there's like a mentorship lunch, right? Maybe there's that type of place that I need to go. And then also when I'm applying, who are the mentors that I want to be learning from? I like to learn from different authors. But what I find is, John Maxwell he's the one who got me started in the personal growth world 20 plus years ago. So he's always on my list, but it's not all the time. Last year this time, I was really learning from Jeff Henderson. Right now, I'm really learning from Don Yeager. So those are my mentors that may not know me. I think they do know me, but they don't know me. They, like my family might, or local people that I can connect with more often, but they're still mentors that I'm choosing. So, first, what do I do every day? I learn, I prioritize, and I apply. I do what it is that I want to do or I need to do to get to my goals. The 4th thing that I need to do every day is evaluate. Episode 108, maybe, if I'm going off my memory here, I talked about thinking differently about our experiences and how John Maxwell said that experience is not the best teacher, like some say. Evaluated experience is the best teacher. We need to take time to evaluate, ask the questions after we do things to see, was it really valuable? Is it something we should do again? Just simple questions like what went right, what went wrong, and what can I do differently? That's a great place to start when you're evaluating your experiences. Now, with this, if we don't evaluate, we really do get stuck in insanity. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So if we're not taking time to evaluate, to make sure that we think about what went right and what didn't go right and what we should do differently next time, we're just stuck. So after any kind of event or activity, what did I learn? Who did I meet? What do I need to do as a result of what I learned and who I met? Those are additional type of questions depending on what type of activity or experience you're evaluating. Okay, so every day I learn, every day I prioritize, every day I apply, every day I evaluate, and every day I share. And during this podcast I was listening to with Mark and Chris, they gave such a great example, okay? First of all, there's a quote by, I think JFK said, "To whom much is given, much is required." Yeah, well, so did Luke in chapter 12, verse 48. And so did Voltaire. He said, "With great power comes great responsibility." And also Uncle Ben said that. That's Spider-Man's uncle? Yeah. "With great power comes great responsibility." When we have opportunities to learn and to grow, it is our job to share. That's part of our responsibility. And they gave this example. Let's say you go to the FedEx shop and you give them a big box to mail to your niece and nephew. Okay, it's a Christmas gift, right? And a week after Christmas, or actually let's just say on Christmas Day, you find out that the niece and nephew didn't get the box. Dang it, we wanted it to arrive on Christmas Day, right? So, the next day it doesn't arrive, and the next day, and finally, after all the holidays are done, you go back to the FedEx store and you say, "Hey, listen, I had you mail the box. They're like, oh yeah, we remember the box. They're like, but my niece and nephew haven't gotten it yet. They're like, oh, we didn't deliver it. It looked awesome, so we kept it ourselves. Yeah, I'd be a little upset with that because that's not why I paid you money, right? I wasn't asking you to keep it. I was asking you to deliver it. That's our job too. When we have the opportunity to learn and grow and receive some revelation or some knowledge, our job is to share, not to hoard it, to share with others. When we share, we also learn it. We also embody it more. We learn it better when we can share. So don't be like the hoarding FedEx guy, right? Be like the great FedEx deliverer and deliver messages. Deliver messages that you've learned so that you can bless others. Okay, so this is a rule of 5 for personal growth. How does this relate to us? Well, that's something we should be doing every day, is learning, prioritizing, applying, evaluating, and sharing. But now I want to talk about planning out a longer period of time. Planning out your personal development over a year. Creating a personal development plan for a certain period of time. And this is a great thing to do when you go into a new year, right? So personal development plan, what it is, it's really a document where you're going to list things that you want to do and accomplish within this next year. You're listing the growth that you're hoping for. Okay, so what do you want to do is your action. And also, who do you want to be? That's going to dig into your thoughts, your mindset. So how do we even begin in this plan? Well, in the comments later, I'm going to be posting a link where you can go download a template. It's a PDF. So everything I'm going to talk about as far as this plan goes, it's going to be in this template. So if you're driving or running or exercising, you can download this later and you can start to work on it because it truly is a worksheet. It's a form that you're going to fill out. So where do we start? We start with the rule of 5 that I just listed above. And then kind of think about, what do I want to do next year? What do I want to accomplish? Are there any big projects that I really want to conquer? Where do I want to grow in my life? What do I want to listen to? What do I want to read? Places I want to go, mentors that I want to connect with somehow. So all of this is going to be documented in your plan. But then also, we're going to start to categorize different pieces of your life and write out your goals for your financial goals, your spiritual goals, your emotional goals, your physical goals, your educational goals, which also could be your career goals. What else? Oh, and just personally, right? Personal goals like places I want to travel or projects I want to complete. Then we need to add in some connectors. Connectors, this is what I mean. Have you ever heard of the idea of choosing a word for the year? There's a great podcast back in the 70s, 76 or 75. If you go back to my previous podcast, you'll find where I talk about choosing a word of the year. I'll talk about it here in a few weeks as well. But over the last, 5, 8, 10 years, our family has chosen a word of the year. And it's just powerful. My word this year is multiply. And it's powerful because you think you know what that word's going to mean for you this year, and then the year happens. Now, how have I multiplied so far? Well, we adopted 2 puppies. That doubled our size. It multiplied the size of our household. But on the flip side of it, I also retired from my direct selling business. That's not multiplying, but is it? I launched my online learning program. I've multiplied by adding users or learners to the program. So this is where my mind is all year long. I'm just focusing on multiply. I remember back in February, I was meeting with somebody through Zoom and she said, thank you. Thank you for connecting with me. You're really helping multiply the strength in this world. She didn't even know that was my word, but it touched me. I'm paying more attention. And then also here's another connector. I found a song called Multipliers that I like to play every month. When I'm reviewing my personal development plan, I play that song and just keep it in the front of my mind. I find scriptures that relate because I'm a person of faith. I find scriptures. I also create images. The year that my word was empower, my image was my daughter. We were in Arizona, Superstition Mountain. That's where we were. And she was facing the mountain. Her back was to me, and I took a picture, and she had her arms up like a power pose. And so I got a picture of her back and then facing the mountain. Actually, she was maybe on top of a mountain. Who knows? But anyway, I chose that as my image. Now, sometimes I choose superheroes as my image. This year, I just chose the multiplication sign, the asterisk or the X. But these are connectors that I include within my personal development plan because the image, the sound, I'm hopefully appealing to all my senses. I like to create. I paint. I don't paint, but I do paint once a year. I paint my word on a canvas. It's got the word, maybe some visuals, whatever it might take. But all of this is going to appeal to my senses. So I might not hear it, but I'll see it, or I will read about it, and it'll just keep it in front of my face all year long. When it comes to these personal development plans, what I've found is this is a time to dream big. Dream big and capture or document what it is that you want to see happen this year. Does it always happen? No, but I get closer than what I was before because I'm focusing on it. When I break my personal development plan down into categories, the things that I've really had fun capturing. First of all, I do capture all the books that I read throughout the year. I guess I've learned that there's two ways to do it. Number one, I'll capture it as I read it, but now I'm starting to switch my whole plan a little bit and write down books that I want to read throughout the year that are related to my word. It's related to my goal. And Chris Robinson said this in the podcast the other day too. He said, sometimes we go and we talk to people and say, hey, what books are you reading? And whatever they're reading, I'm going to go read. But they're not connecting with me. I don't finish the books. I get bored with it fast. Choose books that are related to your goal or they're related to a problem you want to solve. Don't choose books just because somebody else read them. And by the way, I'm not talking about fictional books. I'm talking about development books. Choose books that are related toward your goal, something you want to learn and grow at, or it's a problem you're trying to solve. So when I think about it that way, gosh, now when I think of the word multiply, what books might be related to that? Now I can be proactive in my plan rather than just tracking my books or my audibles, right? I know also my kids are all now out of the house. They live in different cities. My parents live in a different city. And a few years ago, when all of this change was happening to our family, I really wanted to be intentional to see every part of my family once a month, my parents and each of my kids. So I was tracking it because what happens is we think we're seeing everybody every month, but until I actually write it down, I realize 3 months has gone by. So it's a plan where I'm going to be proactive, but if you've caught it, I also review my plan every month throughout the year. I go back and I read things and I capture things. How did I multiply this month? What books did I finish reading? Who did I go see? When did I go see them? Am I on track with the goal of wanting to see my family every month? This is the value of this plan. And I got to admit, I reviewed my plan the other day, and there's things that they're not going to happen this year. I thought I wanted to, but it's just not working out that way. So, okay, that's fine. I'll go into it next year. I'll add it next year if it's still something within me that I want to meet as a goal. So dream big, be realistic, but don't be afraid to put some things on there that maybe are new to you. Keep notes, add to your plan throughout the year. And then at the end of the year, it's always good to do a wrap up and ask yourself some questions. But I'm going to share these questions with you now because I also think it's really good to start by asking these questions, and it'll help you figure out what your plan should be. So here's the 10 questions, or I'm sorry, 9 questions. Number one, rate yourself, by the way, on a scale of 1 to 10, and these questions are in the template that you can download. So the first question is how healthy do I feel? If you feel a 1, that's, by the way, 1 is bad and a 10 is good. If you feel 1, well, that probably can help you figure out what should be in your personal development plan this year. The next question, how do you feel about your time doing work that matters? Are you prioritizing the right way, right? Scale of 1 to 10, how do you feel about your time at doing what matters? Question number 3, how content are you? On a scale of 1 to 10, how content are you? Question number 4, how satisfied are you with your time with your spouse or your significant other? Do you feel like you spend enough time, not enough time? Maybe you want a different significant other. But anyway, how satisfied are you on a scale of 1 to 10? Question number 5, how satisfied are you with your friendships, male or female? Do you have friends? Do you do things with people other than your significant other? That's important. Question 6, how satisfied are you with your overall schedule? Or do you feel too chaotic or not busy enough? Question number 7, how satisfied are you with your present income? Do you need to make more money? Do you need to have another job? Do you need to back off some of the jobs? Question number 8, how satisfied are you with the amount of time that you get away? The amount of time that you get away without technology, the amount of vacation time. And question number 9, how satisfied are you with the places that you go on vacations or weekends? Do you feel like you took enough vacations or enough weekends away? Or did you have enough weekends at home? That's important too. So rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10, and that will help you move into the new year, help you create your development plan, what you want to focus on. And then at the end of next year, definitely go through that exercise again so that you can see, hopefully you've seen an increase in your scores, and you can also see where you want to focus on next. So later on, I'm going to post a link here in this video, and it'll also be linked to my podcast and my YouTube video. You can go ahead and go to my website and download this template that I've been talking about. The value here is enormous. When you can just take time to think about where you want to go, who you want to be, and write it down. Write it down so you don't forget. Write it down so you can look at it later or throughout the next year. Write it down so you can look at it from years from now and just see your growth. Most important right now is to just get started. Just get something started. Your 2023 plan, it might not be complete or perfect by January 1st, but it'll be better than last year's, right? Remember to take time to think, especially if you start it now. Gosh, you've got a little less than 3 months to take time to think and keep documenting, keep tracking, and keep kind of prioritizing your plan. Figure out what you want to do and who you want to be. Dream big, be brave, write it all down into your plan, and then get started. Get started into the new year, feeling confident that you are being intentional and purposeful with where you want to go in this new year. I hope that this has challenged you to think differently. I hope that I've challenged your thinking habits and your end of year habits so that it does make you more efficient and fully empowered. Thank you for joining me. I look forward to hearing about all of these plans, and I love always hearing what people's word of the year is. Be great this week, and we'll see you next Tuesday.